think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fight?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that.
You ever feel like boxing just dropped a plot twist out of nowhere? Because that's exactly what happened when Gervonta Tank Davis sent a warning straight to Jake Paul's doorstep. And trust me, it wasn't friendly. Tank Davis, the knockout artist who's made a career out of shutting lights off with a single punch, is now lining up across from Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned fighter who's been out here turning critics into believers one fight at a time. And now, the two worlds are about to collide in a way nobody saw coming. Let's be real, Tank Davis isn't the type to waste words. He doesn't talk unless he means it. And when he told Jake Paul this fight wasn't going to end well for him, it wasn't just hype, it was a promise. This is the same guy who sent Rolando Romero face first into the ropes, who folded Leo Santa Cruz with one of the most brutal uppercuts in recent memory. When Tank warns you, history says you better listen. But here's the twist. Jake Paul isn't backing down, not even a little. He's bigger, younger, and way more confident than most people want him to be. Every time fans and fighters tell him he's out of his depth, he comes back with another upset, another headline, another win that shuts people up, at least for a while. So now the question is simple. When Jake Paul steps into the ring with a guy as lethal as Tank Davis, is this the fight where the dream ends, or does the chaos keep going?
I'll tell you what, man, I really...
Oh, nice uppercut. Oh, and a second one drops Sanchez. And is there every time he's throwing it here, late in round number 8. Woo.
The moment this fight became official, Tank Davis didn't waste a second letting the world know exactly how he felt about it. No long press conferences, no clever sound bites just for promotion. He kept it simple, kept it raw. Tank looked dead into the camera during his first interview about Jake Paul and said, "If Jake steps in that ring, I'm going to show him the difference between YouTube boxing and real boxing." That wasn't just confidence talking. That was a man with a highlight reel full of knockouts letting everyone know he wasn't here to play games. Tank Davis doesn't do moral victories. He doesn't leave fights in the hands of judges. When he steps into the ring, someone usually leaves it on the canvas, wondering what just hit them. And that's why this warning felt different. Tank isn't known for calling people out unless it's personal. He's usually calm, almost quiet outside the ring, like he saves all his energy for fight night. But this time, there was a little extra in his voice, a little edge when he said Jake Paul was about to learn a hard lesson about the sport. Fans picked up on it instantly. Clips of that interview went everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all over people's feeds. Comment sections blew up with predictions, memes, debates about whether Jake Paul had finally bitten off more than he could chew. Because when a fighter with Tank's resume tells you the fight's going to end bad for the other guy, you tend to believe him.
Nate's a dead man. A dead man walking. It's a good last fight for him. That's why people love Nate, actually. He gets his ass beat, but he keeps on getting his ass beat.
If there's one thing Jake Paul's built his whole boxing career on, it's proving people wrong. So when Tank Davis sent that warning, you already knew Jake wasn't about to just nod his head and stay quiet. Not his style. Instead, Jake doubled down like he always does. He went on social media within hours, posting clips of his own training, hard sparring rounds, brutal body shots on the heavy bag, speed drills that made it look like he was living in the gym. And right under the video, a caption that read, "Size matters, speed matters, timing matters. I've got all three." Classic Jake Paul, confident, maybe a little cocky, but that's what's made him the most talked about fighter outside of the boxing purists' world. He's heard it all before. He's a YouTuber. He's not real. Yet here he is, headlining cards, selling out arenas, knocking out former MMA champs, and turning every fight into a viral event. And this time, Jake made it clear he wasn't just here to show up. He was here to shock the world again. He reminded everyone he's bigger than Tank Davis by nearly 20 pounds, with a longer reach and a style that's been improving fight after fight. In his mind, that's the recipe for another upset. So when Tank warned him, Jake just smiled, posted another training clip, and told reporters, "He's fast, he hits hard. But so do I. Let's see what happens when he can't walk me down." For Jake, this isn't just a fight. It's a chance to flip the script again, this time against one of boxing's deadliest finishers.
I swear to God, I was on a plane coming home from Las Vegas. When Luis told me Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul, I said, "Get the bleep out of here." I said, "You're a bleep liar." Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. Gervonta Davis is that much better than Jake Paul at boxing. But Gervonta Davis in his last fight weighed 133.8 pounds.
The moment Tank Davis sent that warning and Jake Paul fired back, the internet did what it always does. It blew up. Twitter turned into a highlight reel of opinions, predictions, and memes within minutes. On one side, you had the hardcore boxing fans laughing off Jake Paul's confidence. They were posting knockout clips of Tank folding opponents like lawn chairs, saying things like, "Jake better have an ambulance on speed dial." For them, this wasn't a fair fight. It was a reality check waiting to happen. But then came Jake Paul's fan base, massive and loud as ever. They flooded Instagram comments, TikTok edits, and YouTube shorts with training clips of Jake landing bombs on pads, talking about how his size, reach, and constant improvement were going to shock the world again. To them, Tank Davis was just another name in a long line of doubters who would end up eating their words. Even fighters jumped in. Some, like Ryan Garcia, said Tank's power was on another level and that Jake didn't know what he was walking into. Others, especially from the MMA side, reminded people that Jake's beaten names like Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva, legends who weren't exactly pushovers. It was pure chaos online. Debates on podcasts, predictions on Twitter Spaces, fan-made posters everywhere. And with every clip Jake or Tank posted, the hype just kept growing.
There we see Paul with the...
Now let's break this fight down for real, because when you put Tank Davis and Jake Paul side by side, you start to see why this matchup has people so divided. On paper, the size difference jumps out immediately. Jake Paul walks around close to 190 pounds, fights comfortably at cruiserweight, and has the kind of reach that can keep most opponents at the end of his jab. Tank Davis? He's built like a tank, compact, explosive, with power that carries all the way up from lightweight to super lightweight. He's the smaller man here, no doubt about it. But here's the thing, Tank Davis has made a career out of walking down taller, longer opponents and making them pay the second they slow down or get comfortable. His footwork is tight, his angles are nasty, and when he finds that opening, lights out. He doesn't need 20 clean shots, he needs one, just one. Jake Paul, on the other hand, has been improving fight by fight. His jab has gotten sharper, his timing cleaner, and his right hand, it's real. We've seen him put seasoned fighters on the canvas with it. The question is, can he keep Tank Davis off him long enough to land it? Because Tank's defense isn't just good, it's patient. He studies you, walks you down, then detonates. So we've got power versus power, size versus speed, experience versus momentum. It's the kind of clash boxing lives for. If you want to understand why Tank Davis's warning to Jake Paul carried so much weight, you have to look at what he's done to fighters who thought they could handle his power. Go back through his highlight reel. It's a library of opponents crumpling the moment Tank finds that opening. Rolando Romero, same story. Competitive fight, tense atmosphere, and then, boom, one punch changed everything. That's what makes Tank so dangerous. He doesn't just win on the scorecards, he ends nights early. He carries fight-ending power in both hands, and it doesn't fade after a few rounds. Whether it's the second round or the 10th, the threat never goes away. And here's the kicker. Tank doesn't waste punches. He's not swinging wild or gassing out chasing a knockout. He walks you down, studies you, downloads your timing, then detonates. It's why trainers call him one of the most efficient finishers in the game today. For Jake Paul, that's the storm he has to survive. Because the moment Tank finds that clean shot, history says the fight might not last much longer. Now, let's be real. 2 years ago, if someone said Jake Paul was going to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, most people would have laughed. Back then, Jake was still the YouTube boxer, the guy knocking out retired MMA fighters and building his brand as much as his boxing skills. But here's the thing. He's actually been putting in the work. Fight after fight, you can see the improvements. That jab he barely used in his early bouts, now it's sharp and snappy, setting up his right hand and keeping opponents at the perfect distance. His footwork? Way less stiff than it used to be, with actual angles instead of just walking straight in. And the power's always been there. Say what you want about the competition, but putting Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva on the canvas isn't easy. Those guys might have been older, but they weren't pushovers. Jake showed composure, patience, and legit finishing ability. Things that don't just come from holding pads for Instagram videos. That's why he believes he can handle Tank. He knows Tank's faster, he knows Tank's more experienced. But Jake thinks his size, reach, and discipline can change the equation. In his mind, if he keeps the fight at range, lands that right hand, and doesn't let Tank close the distance, he's got a real shot. It's confidence built on progress, not just hype.
Gervonta Davis has become a three-division world champion and a moonsault to bat. What a finish!
With the fight-building steam, the odds makers wasted no time putting numbers on it. Early betting lines have Tank Davis as the clear favorite. No surprise there, given his resume and knockout record. But here's where it gets interesting. Jake Paul's size advantage and recent performances have kept the lines closer than a lot of people expected. It's not a runaway. Boxing analysts are split right down the middle. Some believe Tank's experience, speed, and power will be too much, that Jake won't be able to handle the pressure once Tank starts walking him down. Others think Jake's size and discipline might buy him enough time to land the one big shot that changes everything. Fans? Oh, they're all over the place. Twitter polls show Tank winning by knockout as the most common prediction. But there's a growing chunk of people calling for a Jake Paul upset. You've got casual fans jumping on Jake's hype train, hardcore boxing purists riding with Tank, and then the middle group, the ones who just want chaos on fight night. Podcasts, YouTube breakdowns, TikTok prediction threads. It's all feeding into this narrative that this fight might not be as one-sided as people first thought. And that's exactly what keeps the buzz alive. As fight week creeps closer, the training camp footage starts rolling out. And this is where the energy shifts from talk to action. Tank Davis? He's looking locked in. No wasted motion, no extra drama. The clips show him drilling those body shots, moving like a man who's been here before. This is routine for him. Big lights, big names, same focus. Every time you see him hit the pads, you're reminded why so many fighters call him one of the most efficient finishers in the game. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is in full prove-them-wrong mode. His camp is pushing the strength and conditioning angle, sled pushes, heavy bag sessions, endless sparring rounds. The message is clear. He wants to show he's not just another crossover fighter cashing a check. He wants to look like he belongs here. And then there's the mental warfare. Tank doesn't talk much, but when he does, it cuts deep. He's been dropping little reminders in interviews, stuff like, size doesn't win fights, skill does simple, but it gets under your skin because you know he believes it. Jake fires back with confidence, talking about being too big, too strong, keeping the trash talk alive on social media. It's classic fight buildup, the calm assassin versus the outspoken underdog, and it's working. Every new clip just makes the fight feel bigger.
To his falcon, Paul brought it back, and yeah, we can all feel it. There is something in the air tonight.
And here is Gervonta Tank.
When fight night finally rolls around, the energy inside the arena is electric. The lights drop, the crowd roars, and the big screens start running those hype packages we've been seeing all week. The knockouts, the training montages, the interviews where both guys promise to end it early. Tank Davis walks in first, all business. He doesn't smile, doesn't look around. Just that slow, deliberate walk to the ring like a man who's been here 1,000 times. This is familiar ground for him. Bright lights, high stakes, big names across the ring. Then comes Jake Paul, bigger, louder, soaking in the energy. Whether people are cheering or booing, he doesn't care. It's all fuel. Say what you want about him, the guy knows how to turn a fight into an event. Analysts start breaking it down before the bell even rings. Most agree the first 3 rounds are critical. If Jake can keep Tank on the outside, use his jab, control the distance, maybe he can take the fight into deeper waters where his size matters more. But if Tank gets inside early, well, we've seen how that story ends before. Round by round, the experts call it like a chess match with dynamite on the board. Every feint, every counter, every step forward from Tank feels like the start of something dangerous. Every clean jab from Jake keeps the upset dream alive. This is what the entire buildup led to. The moment where words don't matter, predictions don't matter, just two men in the ring and the truth about to come out in real time. But here's the thing, win or lose, this fight doesn't end when the bell rings. If Tank Davis wins the way most expect, it's not just another W on his record, it's a statement. It opens doors to super fights against the likes of Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, or even a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Each one could headline a stadium, each one could define a legacy. But if Jake Paul shocks the world, forget just rematches. We're talking about crossover chaos, bigger fights, bigger names, maybe even belts on the line if he keeps climbing. Love him or hate him, a win here puts him in conversations nobody thought possible when he first stepped into a boxing. Does Tank cement his dominance? Or does Jake flip the script and rewrite the rules of boxing stardom? Let us know your take in the comments. Hit that like button if you're hyped for fight night, subscribe so you don't miss the full breakdown afterward, and get ready, because whatever happens, this one changes everything.